Over the years, Five Nights at Freddy's has seen its fair share of controversy, whether it's very controversial creators making really disgusting content, some characters being created and then seamlessly forgotten out of nowhere for no reason, fake rumors about the movie coming out, the movie actually coming out and being ridiculously mid. You name it, Five Nights at Freddy's has been through it. But easily the most controversial part about the FNAF community is the fan base. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of fan-made characters out there, and there's a lot of good fans out there that make really good content. Nowhere in this video do I want to even talk about any of the good ones. I'm looking specifically at the bad ones out there. Just as much as we've seen plenty of controversy, we've also seen a lot of characters, and some of them are more infamous, like Golden Freddy, Balloon Boy, Fredbear, and most notably, and for the sake of this video, Purple Guy, also known as William Afton. This by far is the most controversial character in the entire Five Nights at Freddy's history. Now before we go rage typing in the comment section about how he's controversial, let me explain. Not only am I talking about him in the Mainline series, I'm also talking about every single fan-made version of this character is absolutely horrible. The Mainline character is already pretty sick as it is. I mean, he's a guy that goes out and murders children for fun, and he's pretty much the whole reason why the entire franchise even exists. But even that's just the tip of the iceberg compared to what a lot of this fan base creates of him. And what they do to him can range from something as disgusting as being a cannibal to being a literal... Oh, yeah, you heard that right. It gets that far, and it's that sickening. So that's what I'm going to look into today, is the most controversial FNAF character of all time. Before we even dive into anything the fan base created of him, I want to look more into what Scott Cawthon had intended for this character to be in his official series. Purple Guy, also known as William Afton and also known as Springtrap, has 3 different versions of himself. Regardless of how you look at this character, they're all the same person, and they're a pretty messed up person. William Afton is literally the main antagonist amongst the Five Nights at Freddy's series. He was the co-founder and owner of Fazbear Entertainment and Afton Robotics, but he's also a serial killer that directly and indirectly responsible for most of the incidents and tragedies that happens throughout the series, including creating the robots, creating Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but most notably stuffing the missing children into his own animatronic suits that he made. Afton's role in this entire series is very pivotal, as if it isn't for him, this entire franchise probably isn't even happening. Scott Cawthon had initially created this character to pretty much just be the mainline villain of the story, and he definitely fits the bill very perfectly. However, he is a killer, which is absolutely disgusting, but the way that Scott handles it throughout his video games makes it, well, a little less disturbing, as we never actually see anybody getting murdered throughout the series. The only person we ever see him get murdered is, well, himself, and it's done in a minigame version where it's not an actual cutscene or an actual in-game model that was created. This is a very fine line that Scott Cawthon is stepping on in terms of creating a character. Dealing with children is a very sensitive matter, and causing harm to them or anything is very, very insensitive and not a very good background for a character, but I think Scott does it in the best way possible, as the majority of the games don't even really go into great detail as to what happened or any of his actions. The video game series itself doesn't really dive too deep into William Afton's personality, but if you want to read more up about that, you definitely need to get some of the Five Nights at Freddy's novels, which I highly recommend you reading. They dive a lot deeper into his character, his background, and even his family. So if you want to learn more about that, I definitely recommend reading some of the novels. Despite him being the main antagonist, we actually don't even get to hear him speak until the 5th game of the series in Sister Location.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
He is mentioned in the first 2 games, and he is the main antagonist of the 3rd game whenever he is Springtrap, but we don't really see or hear of anything of him until Sister Location, where you hear this cutscene right here. But all in all, despite this being a very, very fucked up concept that Scott Cawthon initially had for his character, it's played out in a really good way, and there aren't really a lot of complaints about this throughout the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. So during the Mainline series, he is a little controversial, but not nearly as bad as the fan base version. But unfortunately, I have to stay true to the video title after that's why I clicked on this video, because you want to hear the controversy. So without further ado, let's jump right into the fan base version of him. Quick disclaimer before we even dive into here. There will be some very sensitive topics that will be discussed throughout the remainder of this video. So if you do not wish to hear or see anything related to these topics, I highly recommend you click off the video. I respect you guys too much to not let y'all know about this. So if you don't wish to see or hear any of this, just go ahead and click off. Thanks for watching. But for the ones that stuck around, let's dive right into it. Now, there are only 2 instances that I'm going to be talking about in this video, but they make a bigger impact than you think. Anytime you think of William Afton or Purple Guy after watching this video, you're going to think exactly what the fan base makes him look out to be. And I do not speak for the entire fan base when I say this, by the way, as there are only a few people that actually think of Purple Guy in this form. But let's jump right into it. So, the latest example that I'm sure you may not have heard of comes from a YouTube channel called The Pirate Boy, and if you're unfamiliar with them, they started out uploading videos 3 years ago, and it was just your run-of-the-mill analog horror videos. And if we're being honest with each other, they're not really special in any way, and they definitely don't stand out in terms of FNAF analog horror, which a lot of people has made their own take on that and has done much better than this. His first couple of videos didn't really get off the ground very much with piratescove.mp4 and cursetape.mp4, but his third video did, and it's titled He Is Here. So let's watch it and see if it's any. As you can see, it's not really any different than what you'd see in a normal FNAF analog horror. Maybe a little bit more vivid, I guess, and a slight bit more creepy, but it really just feels like they just drawn out pictures of FNAF characters and added a couple of jump scares to it to make it scary, so definitely mid-work. The next video that he uploaded was about 6 months into this one, and it was titled help.wanted.mp4, and it's not really anything special, much like the other one, but we're going to give it a watch anyway. Again, nothing really special and nothing really scary. After this, he would periodically just upload a bunch of random FNAF analog horror videos, and while these definitely aren't terrible, they don't really stand out. Like I said, they're the same thing as what you get any other day. So what makes this guy so special, or what makes him so controversial? Well, if you dive into the shorts that he uploaded, there was a couple of them that definitely stood out in front of others. The video that really put the Pirate Boy on the map, and not for a good reason, is titled missing_kids.mp4. Well, at first glance, this video just seems like a cheap copy of a FNAF analog horror video. It goes a lot deeper than that. Whenever you read more into what one of the children was saying throughout the video, you could pretty much sum up exactly what had happened in that house. I'm not saying what it is, I'm sure you could guess it at this point, but for some reason, this person, the Pirate Boy, felt the need to make Purple Guy a pedo, which is just absolutely disgusting in every sort of manner, and I don't understand why anybody in their right minds would believe that this is a good idea. What makes a villain so scary or so evil doesn't have to be his actions. It could be his motives, it could be his past, it could be anything. And Purple Guy already is a very sick person, as he children just to put him in an animatronic suit for his own personal gain. Like I said earlier in this video, Scott Cawthon is already dancing on the line that a lot of people shouldn't cross, but the way that he presents it is in a much better format, to the fact where you kind of forget what Purple Guy did. But for some reason, it didn't stop here in this disgusting point of view, as he uploaded another video similar to this titled missing_kids.mp4, yet another video with the same title. So while the previous video definitely hinted towards the intentions of William Afton, this one just outright says it right here. And it's, oh God, it's so disgusting. I hate seeing that word, and I hate the fact that they ever thought that this was even a good idea. Needless to say, this video absolutely exploded, and for, again, the wrong reason, which sparked a lot of controversy with the Pirate Boy, with a lot of fans reaching out in the comment section to spread their opinions on this. I really dislike the part, as it makes me extremely uncomfortable, but if he had never introduced that to the series, I actually find this VHS tape quite scary. The cannibal part reminds me of Silence of the Lambs, to which somebody responded with, whenever people turn William into a pedo, they do it with zero tactical, and it's always for spooky points or to fulfill their own fantasies. This unfortunately is a very true point, as a lot of people that are creative and make their own series try to put their own sick and twisted fantasies into their own cartoon, animated video, analog horror, whatever the case may be. They try to convert that into there, and it's honestly disgusting. A person named William Afton said, "I don't mind William being a cannibal. However, what disgusts me most is that Pirate Boy made his William version a fucking pedo, and hearted the comment that said William X Cassidy's relationship might be canon. After seeing that comment, he hearted, made me scream from my lung for once and stopped my heart instantly." Reddit thread that all these comments came from was called this. This, in my opinion, is one of the worst FNAF analog horror series I've ever seen. It's basically just urban spook on crack after discovering FNAF was a thing. I'm not saying you should harass them, but to sum it up, William's a cannibal in this series. Which leads on to the next conversation that we're going to talk about, as William is indeed a cannibal in this series. If you dive a little bit deeper into the Pirate Boys channel, you'll see a playlist called Afton's Secrets, and I'm going to spare you the time of having to watch this shit. Basically, in the grand scheme of things, William's a cannibal that eats the children. So instead of stuffing them into animatronic suits in here, he just flat out eats them. Because that makes sense. Make that make sense for me, Pirate Boy, would you? A lot of people were kind of torn on the cannibal matter. Some people think it was a cool idea. Some people thought it was a little crazy. But a majority of people couldn't overlook the fact that he made William a pedo in here, which completely, for me, just obliterates the entire thing. I don't even want to watch it anymore once you bring up that disgusting matter. With all this controversy and hate sparking from his channel, he actually came out and posted this. "Hi everybody, I want to tell you that so far there will be no FNAF VHS tapes. This is temporary. If you want, you can unsubscribe. New videos will be released less frequently. This is due to the recent situation and because I found myself a part-time job to support myself. Thank you all for the video. I hope you are understanding and support." While this is somewhat a good gesture, I guess it doesn't overlook the fact that what he made was disgusting. And the only way, in my opinion, that he can make up for this this would be to just completely start all over. Delete all those terrible VHS tapes and everything in increments and just start over. I'm happy that he got a part-time job, but damn, dude. There were a couple of people in the comment section actually defending this man from this post and even bringing something up about how he had gotten hacked. This comment right here kind of implicates that he may have gotten hacked and that's why there was a long period in between uploads. But he also goes as far as to saying, to anyone that hates on this man's work because of its dark, take a deep breath and move your hand and watch something else. Like, seriously, it is not that difficult. If all you snowflakes have a problem with this type of realistic horror, then y'all shouldn't be in the horror community in the first place. Anyway, you're doing amazing work. Keep it up. While this would be a good point for defending somebody, it's just the take that he has on this is a very sensitive topic and should not be brought about. Talking about is almost like joking about cancer. Why would you do that? That's such a sensitive and hurtful topic for anybody out there, and never should it ever be used for a storyline or to make a character any scarier than what they already are. This is not a good villain trope. This is a stupid villain trope. This isn't making your villain scary or more sinister. It's making them an absolute piece of shit. But if any of you are wondering if he actually has any good videos out there that are actually scary, unfortunately, I can admit, yes, he does have some scary videos out there. The one that I pinpoint the most is titled Rakuten, I think. I don't know how to pronounce that. But whenever you look it up, it's a Japanese word, and it basically means optimism. So, not sure what that means, but basically what it is you're taking place for the kid in the 4th Fnaf game. And eventually your father, who I'm guessing is William Afton, comes home. And in the video, the way they depict William Afton is the black character in the hat that we see from one of those stupid TikTok challenges that was pretty infamous. This video is extremely unnerving and actually pretty creepy, considering that he actually gave eyes to this character, and something about this is just completely unnerving, and it feels like a sleep paralysis demon coming at you. It's really creepy, and I have to say that it is solid work, but unfortunately it still tacks on a really disgusting manner that William Afton is a cannibal. As his videos went on for his little Cannibal Afton Secrets video, a lot of people try to get more and more traction to this. There was a Reddit thread that was called Disclaimer Around Pirate Boys VHS Tapes. I think someone really needs to notify Scott about this. So a smaller YouTuber has been doing some VHS content, and he clicked a link to there. Seems innocent, huh? Some kid making his first VHS. Take a closer looker into the death. Then he pulled this, which is more videos. This post may be deleted, however, I just made it to raise awareness for the situation, and hopefully we could get Scott to probably get this guy shut down. If you're unfamiliar, Scott Cawthon actually did comment on something similar to this. Not the Pirate Boys, but something similar. He said this: "Hey everyone, I won't write much about this here, but I will say that blank no longer does artwork for Five Nights at Freddy's. Sexual scenarios involving are disgusting and grotesque in any form, including fan art and fan fiction, and have no place in the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. It is my understanding that she regrets this time in her life, and I wish her the best moving forward." While Scott was very polite about this and pretty much got straight to the point, this unfortunately didn't stop other creators like the Pirate Boy from making such disgusting content related to this. But one way or another, all the awareness that was being spread for this guy's channel eventually ended up branching right back out to the creator himself, to where he had to make yet another comment where he pretty much said all of this. Guys, I'm going to write this for the last time, because I'm still getting unhappy messages about Willow's behavior in my videos. On my channel, I post a video about my FNAF universe. It is particularly not canon. In my universe, William is not just a homicidal maniac, he is much worse. In my universe, he is a very scary character. I know that Scott was against violence and moral actions on the part of this character, but I repeat that this is my universe, which has its own story, its own details and actions. There will be several more characters with a scary story in the future. If you do not watching or don't like something, then don't watch my videos. I give FNAF universe more horror than it is, and everything suits me. If you don't like something, then don't watch the videos. I hope you for your understanding, and thank you for your attention. Basically, in this post right here, he is completely ignoring everything Scott Cawthon had said and said, fuck that, I'm going to do what I want because it is my universe. Literally taking another man's creation and posting that into quote-unquote his own universe. Not only that, this post doesn't even have any sincerity whatsoever. I mean, not even going to apologize to people that are victims for the category that he's talking about, or even showing any signs of wanting to change. Like, in his head, this is all okay, which is completely messed up. You need to respect any wishes that Scott Cawthon, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, has for his own franchise. It's not that difficult, and it's quite pathetic that he just wants to ignore it. Needless to say, though, this was far from the end of the drama related to the Pirate Boy. I'm not going to get into very big detail regarding the rest of what happened to him. I'm going to show you some screenshots right here, and if you would like to read more into that, you are more than welcome to, but I don't want to dive into something that can't really be proven false or true. So I'm just going to show you some more of the drama right here. You can do some research on that if you want, but I'm going to try not to dive into there. But basically, what we've seen from the Pirate Boy, it seems like he just has a lot of issues, either with his life or with his mental health. And it doesn't seem like this was helping him whatsoever. And before I even go any further, I just wanted to say that you definitely should not be harassing anybody on the internet, because despite anybody's actions, these people are still human. So definitely don't go out and harass anybody, spread negativity or anything like that. You want to show your displeasement for content? Absolutely. I'm doing that literally right now. But in terms of harassing or reaching out to stalking anybody or doing anything personal to people is just crossing the line completely, and I don't think you should be doing that. Last, there is somewhat of a satisfying ending, I guess, to this, as he has come to his senses to making better content, and that he basically might stop doing this. It's really hard to tell which direction his channel is going to end up going, but from what I could see, it's still kind of in the same way. He still uploads a little bit here and there, but it's not very often. With his latest video coming out 2 weeks ago and only having 1,000 views, despite his channel having 14.2 thousand subscribers, I really don't know what's going on in this man's life, but I really do hope that whatever it is, he does find help and seek a little bit of mental health, and that I really do hope that his life gets better, and I really hope he never goes back down the rabbit hole that he found himself in creating these videos. But alas, as disturbing as these videos were and as terrible as they are of course not the only mention of William Afton being a pedo. As we all know to this video, it's called Dormitabis, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but basically, you know what Dormitabis is. It's a really shitty take on Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's in a really bad office. It's really creepy, doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it never was intended to. Dormitabis was literally just a little project that these guys got together and thought was a good idea to distribute. However, what they didn't recognize is that one of their creators was a piece of shit that had very dark and twisted fantasies out there. Needless to say, it was pretty disgusting stuff found inside this video game. And if you're unfamiliar with Dormitabis, I guess I'll clue you in on this. So, in the game, periodically, what you do is collect tapes. And once you unlock these tapes, you can go ahead and listen to them. Basically, they're tapes that are recorded by a character named Garvey and his terrible experience with his murders and all his actions that had taken place. Honestly, this is not a bad concept whatsoever, if it didn't lead in the direction that it did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this tape that made Dormitabis so famous.
Certainly beginning to be fun. There's this hot 15-year-old that was part of the kids' friends group. You know, it was fun. She screamed, but nobody heard her. It was so much fun. She's in one of the suits now. Just a little more time until Fredbear's is going down as well. But hey, I'll find my ways to catch her at the others.
If you haven't connected the dots yet, this game is trying to depict Garvey as a pedo. And if you also haven't connected the dots yet, Garvey is supposed to be William Afton / Purple Guy. Yeah, for some reason, they decided to go a step further, much like the Pirate Boy did earlier in his video. And it's pretty disgusting. Once again, I will reiterate, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever as to why you should make your character a disgusting pedo, because that does nothing but just completely ruins the character, ruins the game, and kind of ruins your look on the internet. Needless to say, there were some very big repercussions that took over for the person that created this character, and the entire game was pretty much just abandoned. All the other creators pretty much said their goodbyes to this man as they wanted nothing to do with him not long after this game was released, or at least the information was released, and Dormitabis was abandoned. However, very recently, Dormitabis was remastered and made into a much better game, removing all the pedo stuff that was added onto there and completely reworking it into what seems to be like a playable game that's actually pretty decent and pretty fun. But unfortunately, even these people had a very bad take on William Afton being the sick monster that he is. Wow. That was a lot to take in, and I'm sorry if I kind of simmed through the second part. It's just that a lot of people have seen Dormitabis at this point, but I had to add it in this video as it was one of the main narratives throughout it. It really does suck that there are some creative people out there that could be really, really good, instead use their creative magic or freedom for this sick, twisted garbage. I never understood why making a person that way would ever make them a better character or anything like that. And I really do hope that in the future, nobody else makes content like this, because it's pretty disgusting and it serves zero purpose. Doesn't make them scarier, just makes them worse. So I really do hope for the best for the people that made this content. I do believe in second chances for everybody as long as you learned your lesson, and it looks like the two creators that talked about this somewhat did learn their lessons, and I really do hope for the best of them in this video. And again, I will repeat, please do not harass anybody out there. These people are still human despite their mistakes, and they definitely will be learning those mistakes. But please do not harass or reach out to anybody, as that is a very wrong way to look at things. And that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you're into FNAF related content, and I will see you guys in the next one.